Hey, good afternoon. Uh, so for today, I thought I would start by introducing you to my friend, Bound. This is Bound. Bound is a stick bug. And he's really scared right now because when I tried to take him out of his cage, he fell. And then I had a hard time getting him to come onto my hand, and I don't really want to touch him too much because he is a little bit creepy. But I hope he can just kind of find a little spot because I want to talk about him for a little while. So a stick bug has one purpose in life, and that purpose is to be as much like a stick as possible. This may seem like a pretty simple idea, but in reality, it's a lot more complex than that. So obviously, Bound works like a stick. She is brown, resembles a stick, and is very good at being immobile. Bound eats only leaves from blackberry trees. And we think that Bound doesn't really have feelings, and that her sensory abilities are quite limited. And now she's kind of outstretched looking for another perch because I don't think she's very comfortable here. But so just to show you, when I blow on Bound, watch her reaction. Okay, well actually she's not doing it right now. But when she's a little bit more, I think she knows that her cover is blown and that I know that she's not a stick, and that she's actually a bug. But so normally, if I blow, she would move and then kind of rest back again by doing this jiggle thing until she finds immobility, the way a stick would after a breeze. Would kind of lightly balance until immobility is found again. Bound doesn't need a man to reproduce. In fact, there are very few male bounds or male stick bugs around in the world because the women don't need them. They can just clone themselves, which I think is totally cool. The more I think and talk about these stick bugs, the more things kind of come out. They belong to my roommate. He has a whole terrarium full of them. And I asked him the other night why he liked them so much. And he said that he liked them because they're absolutely fearless. Their whole life is spent basically doing nothing. and being in hiding. So if your like homeostasis is being in hiding, then it's kind of like the minute that you're found out by a predator, then your life is over. So it's kind of pointless to live in fear. If we all lived in fear of the moment we would die, then life wouldn't be very fun. This fearlessness is something that I think is really interesting because it's actually so simple. And their life is so simple. And I want to say that I'm a little bit like envious of the simplicity of their life, the purpose that they all have and share. Although I'm not sure if they can recognize each other. You know, I don't think that they have like a real community or bonding thing going on, since they just are sticks and they don't even need to mate. But yeah, their life is so simple. And because it's so straightforward, they really don't have anything to fear. They don't have like decisions to make except for like where to move next. So let's just do a little experiment together and see what it would be like if we were all like this stick bug bound. Okay, while you think about that, I'm going to close this window that's slamming. So if you had to boil down your life to a place of total fearlessness, what would you eliminate, you know? It's kind of like asking, what is the sole purpose of your life? For Bound, it's to be in camouflage. You can see this little wiggling thing that's going on, like she's trying to blend in or she's reacting to something. So for Bound, it's about camouflage, or it's really just about being a stick. It's about blending in with your environment. So that's one option. Another option for like the sole purpose of your life could be to like make as many friends as possible. To live your whole life in conjunction with your friends, with people that you like, as if that was the only thing that mattered. The sole purpose of your life could be to make as many children as possible, or to make as much money as possible, or to be as intelligent, or at least as well-read as possible. Or it could be to be as kind as possible, or to be as cruel as possible. It could be to defy everything around you just because that's your nature. And I guess my question for you and for Bound is, what's it like? Is it worth it? Is life better when it's simple? Or is it even possible for life to be simple? You know, I'm saying this about Bound right now, but the actuality of this person's life, this insect's life, is that she has been taken out of context, and all of a sudden her normal thing that she does is not enough anymore. So maybe she's developing some skills right now, or maybe these are skills that she's always had, as in like how to find the next place to blend in, how to avoid conflict, find safety, go back to being a stick. It's so delicate to watch her cling to her simplicity. And I wonder if what I'm doing is cruel. But I kind of don't think so. If my roommate were here, I might ask him, like, do you think they have a sense of adventure? And I'm sure he would say no. He would say they're basically a stick. But I'm feeling like she does have kind of a sense of adventure. And I'm feeling like even though my roommate really believes, and he's had a terrarium full of them since 1992, apparently, he really believes that their whole life is just about being a stick, and that it's simple and fearless and evil, that even his theory, or the reason he likes them because they're fearless, that's something that he's invented and projected on them. But I'm saying, I guess, that even for a stick bug, life isn't that simple. You know, some stick bugs don't survive past the age of 2 days. And also, I think a lot of us humans wish that things could be more simple. And that we just had one thing to focus on, like work or love or what to wear or what to eat. But that's just not how it works. For me or for Bound or for you. At some point, life is going to get a little bit more complicated. And as you see right now, Bound is totally dealing with it. She's doing what she knows how to do to cope with this situation. And we do what we know how to do to cope with our situations. And Bound is learning something right now, I think. And we do too, all the time. So instead of wishing that life was so simple, maybe it's okay to acknowledge that at some point it's going to get complicated, right? And that the people or the situation or the context that makes it complicated isn't a malicious force necessarily. It's not, based off of bad intentions or something. Like, even though Bound is quite uncomfortable right now, probably, maybe she's really going to benefit from this. Maybe, what do we know? We don't know anything about what's going on in Bound's head or wherever her brain is, if she has one. She probably has one. She definitely has one. Maybe she's going to go back and tell all the other Bounds, they're all named Bound, about the texture of my skin, or the feeling of the sound waves of my voice hitting her little stick body. So another lesson then would be to know that when things get complicated, it's not necessarily because someone wants something bad for you or because the world is out to get you or whatever. But maybe it's like a kind of for your own good situation. That we all have complicated things to deal with, and we all grow from them eventually. Bound will probably get to be about this big, and she will shed many skins before she gets that big. We also shed our skins in a real way and in a metaphorical way. I think that the human skin totally replaces itself every, I can't remember if it's 6 months or 6 years, somewhere in there. But also, every time we travel or move or kind of complicate our situation, we develop a new skin, a more nuanced skin. A skin that is born from the old skin, but one that is entirely new. Bound eats blackberry leaves from a blackberry branch that's in her cage. And that's all she eats, except for the skin that she's shed. Because the skin that she's shed is exactly the same thing. It's everything that she needs for the next skin. So we also kind of feed off of our shed skins, our past experiences, and we have them as a part of us to look to or to go to when things get complicated. And if we can go through life as delicately and in as vulnerable a way as Bound is doing right now, then the world would be a really beautiful place. So I hope you can all learn something from Bound today. And she's saying bye, and so am I. Until next time.